Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, January 29th. We've got a fresh new mock draft for you. First mock draft since Liam Coen has become the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. Keith Farwell is back as a special teams coordinator. That's not going to impact the draft too much. The Jaguars have all their specialists locked up and a bunch of good special teams players as well, coverage guys, etc. But we're going to get into free agency and the draft here in this mock draft, so let's not delay any longer. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out our Lawrence Cohen 2025 t-shirts over on genjag.com/shop. Pick up a hat like the one I'm wearing. Again, that's genjag.com/shop. So Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, that's a big decision. Do you keep either of them? Do you keep both of them? If it's me, I'm keeping both of them. The goal of this year, aside from winning the division, is to get the offense back on track. So Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, two guys that Trevor Lawrence has great rapport with, keep both of them. The Jaguars right now have about $35 million in cap space. If they move on from guys like Ronald Darby, Devin Duvernay, Luke Fortner, Chad Muma, they can get well over $40 million. So you move on from a few of those guys and you're sitting in great cap position to go address a lot of your needs here in the offseason before you get to the draft. And we feel like we have upgraded the offensive plan, innovation, scheme, all that stuff with Liam Coen. Now it's time to upgrade the offensive infrastructure as well. Losing Evan Ingram or Christian Kirk downgrades the offensive infrastructure for 2025. We're not trying to downgrade. We're trying to upgrade. And so I would keep both of those guys. I think Liam Coen could do a great job utilizing their skill sets. Spring for a starting guard, Trey Smith or Tevin Jenkins. We're going to allocate about $9 million in cap space, assuming it's about $40 million after some of those moves we made in cap space. We're allocating $9 million of a cap hit towards that. And the year one cap hit, the way the Jaguars write contracts, it's going to be about 35 to 40% of the average annual value. So Trey Smith at $9 million, that's about $22 million. Trey Smith is a great run blocking guard. He's a pretty good pass protector. Tevin Jenkins a little bit more balanced. A good run blocker, not as dominant as Trey Smith, but a little bit better pass blocker in my opinion. So either one of those guys, $9 million cap hit, sitting at about $31 million in cap space. Sign as safety, I'd be happy with Javon Holland, Justin Reed, Trayvon Merrick. I'd be fine with Andre Sisco coming back as well. But if you're going and getting Javon Holland kind of at the top of the market, that's about $8 million, $9 million in cap space. We'll say 8. So you're down to $23 million in cap space, and you have a much better safety situation now. You sign a corner, whether it's DJ Reed or Charvarius Ward or Paulson Adebo, allocate about $7 million towards that. Now you have a starter opposite Tyson Campbell, and I would sign whichever one of those I feel more comfortable with based on the scheme the Jaguars are going to be trying to run on the defensive side of the ball. So you're about $16 million in cap space. I'd sign an edge. I really like Azeez Ojulari, liked him coming out. He has dealt with some injuries throughout his career, but he's gotten back on the right track, and he's got length, he's got explosiveness, he has produced pressures and sacks. And so after signing him, you're at about $12 million in cap space. And he really complements, in my opinion, Trayvon and Josh. He's a smaller guy, more explosive, quicker. I like him as a designated pass rusher quite a bit. And then you also sign a backup quarterback that Liam Coen feels comfortable with, that's going to fit into the quarterback room. And I just think C.J. Beathard probably might be done with the injuries that he's dealt with over the last several years. And then you get into the draft. At 5, I'm not letting Gabe Davis slow me down in terms of the dead cap or the sunk cost of it all. With Gabe, I'm not going to have him in my starting lineup heading into the 2025 campaign. Tedero McMillan or Luther Burden at 5. I think Luther Burden has more upside, but I would kind of defer to what Liam and company think about utilizing their different skill sets, because Tedero McMillan is more of that prototypical X receiver, 6'5", 215 pounds, elite hands, great ball skills, always attacks the football in the air, pretty much on any route. Contested catch guy, but can also create some separation with his advanced route running and physicality, some yak ability to him as well. But Luther Burden, just unbelievable athlete with great hands, explosiveness, good length. So whichever one there. We'll say Tedero McMillan for the sake of some clarity here. Tedero McMillan at 5 for the Jaguars. At 36, we go Gray Zabel, the interior offensive lineman, in my opinion, out of North Dakota State. I would be drafting him to be our center of the future here, and also a swing player, which is extremely valuable. Played tackle at North Dakota State. He was able to get reps at guard and center yesterday at the Senior Bowl, which was absolutely huge. Being able to see him, fire off that snap accurately, then get out of his stance and get into blocking position and latch on to guys. He's got great grip strength, great balance, a really good wide base that he plays with, and just a steady athlete. I think he's going to be a really good starting center in the NFL. And so competing with Mitch Morse in year one for the starting job, if he doesn't win the starting job, the good news is he is an excellent swing player across the board on the offensive line for you. So I'd be fired up about that. And North Dakota State, the Bison, they always come tough coming off that offensive line. At 70, Alfred Collins, defensive tackle out of Texas. He's a great run defender. I think you feel really good about Eric Armstead and Mason Smith as penetration style players. Devon Hamilton, hopefully he can have a little bit more consistent year. Jordan Jefferson, hopefully he takes a step forward. But Alfred Collins is an elite run defender. The best run defender in this class at 6'5", 320 pounds. He has elite length at 35-inch arms. He's got great strength. His ability to stack and shed, to read and react, to play the run. It's just incredible. He does it at an extremely high level. And so making sure that you're able to stop the run on the interior of the defensive line, I think would be very valuable there at 70 overall. At 88, Kevin Winston, just a value pick at safety, somebody who maybe doesn't start immediately in year one, but you've got some competition back there with Dewey, with Darnell Savage, with Antonio Johnson. In this scenario, we signed Javon Holland as well. But Kevin Winston, missed this year with the injury. I think a lot of folks probably would have been talking about him as a early second round type of pick had he not gotten injured. So deep safety class, he slips down the board a little bit due to some other guys being able to be healthy this year. Kevin Winston at 88. 106, Gunnar Helm, the tight end out of Texas. Super balanced tight end. I think he's going to be a very good blocker, very good receiver, not like an elite athlete, but a lot of functional athleticism and length. And I think, Liam Coen would like to run some big, heavy personnel. You get Gunnar Helm out there. You obviously have Evan Ingram and Britton Strange. Maybe even getting into some 13 personnel. Having a tight end like Gunnar Helm when Luke Farrell is set to be a free agent, that helps a lot. I think he's like an upgraded version of Luke Farrell. At 125, Kobe Bryant, the cornerback out of Kansas. Great length, great ball skills, quick feet, fluid hips, physical, plays the run at an extremely high level. The only knock is he's about 175 pounds. So Kobe Bryant falling to 125 because of his lack of mass on his frame. Maybe he goes earlier than this, maybe not. At 143, we've got Jabbar Muhammad, another corner out of Oregon. I just love the way he plays the game. He reminds me of maybe like a DJ Reed or a Darius Williams, an undersized guy who can absolutely hang outside because of his competitiveness, his quickness, his fluidity, and his overall athletic profile, even though he's only about 5'10". I like Jabbar Muhammad. And at worst, a great backup nickel for you behind Jarian Jones. At 184, RJ Harvey, super explosive running back out of UCF here, who has just lightning in his feet, it feels like. And he's got some contact balance, a lot of wiggle, a lot of explosiveness, quickness, creativity with the ball in his hands. I think that maybe you could see some Bucky Irving-ish things from RJ Harvey and a Liam Coen offense. At 196, another tight end, Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon. Terrence Ferguson is a big-time athlete at 6'5"-ish, 245 pounds, very fluid, solid hands, a guy who I think in a deep tight end class maybe falls down the board a little bit, and you can pick him up a little bit later on here. And then you have 4 tight ends you can feel really good about. Again, if you're going to be trying to run 12, 13 personnel, you're going to have some guys. And I think you also look at Gunnar Helm and Terrence Ferguson and Britton Strange, and you can kind of move these guys, use them as fullbacks, H-backs, do a lot of different creative things within Liam Coen's offense. And then 223, Jamari Caldwell, another big hulking interior defensive lineman, 345 pounds. But he showed out at the Senior Bowl yesterday. Really quick and fluid athlete at his size, which was really impressive to see. I think he helped out Derek Harmon a ton this year at Oregon. So Jamari Caldwell there to round out the defensive front. And look, the way we drafted, you're having to earn a spot on this roster. The way we added in free agency, you're having to earn a spot on this roster. Nothing is given. It's competition. And the number one goal from a team standpoint is obviously getting into the playoffs, competing to win the AFC title. But I think if you're going to accomplish one thing with this draft, it's setting up the infrastructure for the present and the future of the offense. I think that's the number one goal. We also address defense heavily throughout free agency and at spots in the draft as well. So I think this is a really balanced offseason, a good way to do it, and an offseason that would represent the opportunity for the Jaguars to get back in the playoffs, as long as, Liam Coen's got to fill out that coaching staff. His first hire was an awesome hire, Heath Farwell. Hopefully he can continue to get hits and build a coaching staff that can hold each other accountable, be honest with each other, make each other better, and then also build out that front office GM spot. Their goal is to get that done by the end of February. So really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.